Wait one more sec. There's somebody just checking in.
Because I use music editing software as well. Print music.
Which one?
Print music.
Cool. Well, I got a lot of free stuff because I'm cheap, you know. Besides, a lot of the stuff you want to pay a couple $100s for and find out it really doesn't do what you want. You know, that's not good. This stuff's really good for that. So. Mm-hmm. All right, grab a chair. I think there's one right up front here. Yeah. There you go. Hi, Sue. So what's up with free software, anyways? Why would you need it? Well, the most thing that people do is they type letters and they do spreadsheets, and that's in Microsoft's Word, Microsoft Excel. This thing you're looking at up on the screen is a presentation. It's called PowerPoint. You take pictures and text and you make happy looking, you know, things that look cool on a projector and stuff, right? Well, all that stuff's great, but you know, to buy a version of Microsoft Office, if you wanted to buy one, is going to cost you, depending on what pieces you get, anywhere from $150 to $500. And that's a lot of dough for me, you know. So if there's a free alternative that I can use that's going to do the job for me, that's what I'm looking for. And that's kind of what this class is all about. And who uses Microsoft Word in here? I mean, like everybody on planet Earth, I think, does. Okay, pretty much. There's a free version of what I'm going to go over. Have we got some Mac folk here today? Anybody do Apple? We should have one or two. Nope. Okay, tell your Mac friends, there's a free version out there for Mac too. So we're going to talk about some really good free software. There's so much of it out there, but I want to kind of do a disclaimer. I think I do every time I talk about this. Don't go out downloading anything. Just be really careful, because if you do a Google search for a free Office suite, who knows what you're really going to get. So if you have any doubts or you really want to try one of these, send me an email. People do it in these classes all the time. They send me an email, and then I will email you back with the exact link of where to download what you're looking for. So you won't get in any trouble like, oh, I downloaded 7 other programs that I didn't know I was getting. You know? All right, so just be careful with that. We're gonna talk a little bit about an Office suite, photo editors, and some backup software, ice cream stuff because it's so nice and warm outside. Why wouldn't we, right? Yeah. And then a magnifier tool. Every one of these we could spend an hour talking about. So I'm gonna kind of jump through it and just kind of show you the overview, because literally most of these we could do an hour class on every one of them. Okay, so I want you to be familiar with them and where you might go get them, or to email me if you want them, but we're not really going to delve heavy into them in 1 hour. Okay, all right. How many of you got Windows 10 here on your PCs? Pretty much it's becoming the standard nowadays. However, what we're going to talk about works Windows 7, anybody? Windows 8, 8.1? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know you got it. Yeah, it's okay. It's coming. But so all of the stuff we're going to talk about works on any of those versions. One of the most important things we can talk about is an Office suite. Okay? I put this on here because I know of a lot of people over the years that use it. It's the first one I can remember that was free. That was just after the last ice age. That's how old I am, right? Okay? So then they started making this. This is called Open Office. And it's very good. It's very good, but it's not as complete as the one I'm going to show you. But if you've heard of it, or a lot of people that I know have heard of it and used it, there's nothing wrong with this if you are using it. It works fine. So what's an Office suite? When you hear that term, what Office suite are you using? Okay. It's nothing more than Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all the stuff bundled into one program. But they're all separate programs. Like, if you look at the screen here, there's text document, spreadsheet, presentation, drawings. The Office suite contains all of those. You don't have to go out and get Word, then go out and get Excel, you buy Microsoft Office, and it is a suite of programs, okay? Right? That's what they talk about on Office Suite. OpenOffice is really good, but it's not my top pick. There's another one that we actually taught a couple classes on this. It's called WPS Office. It's very nice looking, and I'll bring it up and show it to you. So this is really close between LibreOffice and this one. But if you look at the screen, again, you guys, most of you used Microsoft Word here, right? Okay. This screen should be very, very familiar to you. Everything about it looks just about like the Microsoft Office screen. Your home, your insert. Can you guys see up on top where I'm clicking up there? Okay. This one's really, really nice. Really nice. It's called the WPS Free Office Suite. You can pay them some money too and get the full version. The thing about this that I didn't like is it's got commercials in it. I'm so tired of YouTube commercials and everything on the internet having commercials. I am just tired of it. Okay. This one does have some advertising in the free one. That's why I didn't make it my first choice. But it's really good, and it doesn't cost all that much if you wanted to buy it. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of an alternative. It's pretty cool. And on the PowerPoint that everybody has, it's probably too small to read. But if you want that one, you can search for it. But that's one definitely that I'd suggest you email me, and I'll get you the link for it if you're interested in it. The one that I recommend to everybody is this one. It's called LibreOffice. And the link is up there, LibreOffice.org. Okay. Anybody using? I heard one or two are using LibreOffice. Good news, bad news, you like it? Work good?
Yeah, I found it a piece of cake.
Yeah, it's really a similar. If you can type in Word, you can type in Libre's document program. It's just really, spell check is under, spell check. And insert is under insert. It's just real easy to use. Yes, Sue?
What it did to me that frustrates the heck out of me is I went to save, it saved half of it. It saved like the first part, and that was it.
I haven't heard of that.
Save all.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
I had to rekey in the whole thing.
Huh.
Oh,
That's no good. What about you, Marilyn?
Excuse me. So if you have Office
Yep.
and you were to install this, would it override what you have? Would it keep your others?
This is a really good question.
Or would I?
You wouldn't lose anything. Her question is, let's say you bought and you paid for Microsoft Office. So you've got the real Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And what if you went and downloaded this and installed it on your computer? Would you lose the Microsoft Office? Absolutely not. They're totally independent of each other. I've got both of them on this computer right here. So they work fine. It's like having, anybody remember Mavis Beacon, the typing tutor? Anybody old enough to remember that software about 100 years ago? Everybody had it on their PCs, but there were different typing tutor programs. You could have one typing tutor to teach you how to type, but you could also get another one and use them both, whichever you like. It's the same with this. So,
can that be downloaded on an iPad?
I don't know if they make it for an iPad. They do make. I know it's made for a Mac.
Okay.
But well, let's go find out. Remember, the website is LibreOffice.org. So there's this thing. It's called Google. He knows everything. He knows. It's weird. You just ask the guy a question, he knows it all. Can you guys read that over there? I honestly don't think so. I know it's on the Mac, but I don't think so. Not currently. Okay. Yes?
I had a computer that all I used it was for the Word and Excel and stuff, and it was like 25 years old.
Uh-huh.
So everything I did, I updated on my flash drive.
Yep.
Well, when we got the new computer, and we put on the Libre, and I put my flash drive in there,
it wants to do it did a conversion. I mean, I did all my changes to it and stuff, and then I wanted to resave it, and it said I couldn't do it in the current format, did I wanna do it in the new format? I said, of course.
Yep. You would
I didn't
actually,
know what I was saying yes to, but.
what she's saying is what actually happened on the newest version of Microsoft Office as well. When you typed for like the last 100 years until 2007, you were typing in Microsoft Word format. You saved your file and it was dorothy.doc. Okay? In 2007, they went out with a different format and everything became .docx. So if you had a stick or anything with old Microsoft Word files on it and you went to open them, Microsoft Word would immediately ask you, I want to convert these to the new format. And that would be Microsoft as well as this, because the old format is, like you said, it's 20 years old. So that's nothing unusual that
But
you've
it seemed
seen.
to be okay. I
It's-
mean, it took some of the conversions and wrapped some of the
Yep.
words and stuff differently. But,
Yep,
you know,
nothing
that was
major.
minor.
And when I do that in Word with some of the old stuff I have, I get the funny word wraps and things. I mean, it just doesn't do it perfect. So, okay. Any more questions on the LibreOffice? Okay. I want to bring something up that someone touched on about saving. So, what is LibreOffice anyways? Well, it's just that. It's an office. It's got a word processor. That's typing. It's got an Excel, which, oops, I'm sorry, that's a spreadsheet, like Excel. It's got a presentation, which that's what you're looking at up here. This thing you're watching me do is a presentation. I made it in LibreOffice. Can't tell. The one in Microsoft's Office that you pay for, it's called PowerPoint. I can't tell any difference. Works just as good. So, and for the low price of nothing. But in this Office suite, it has an Excel-like program, a Word-like program. It's got a really nice drawing program. But when you go to save a program, if we were typing something here, oops, I guess you should probably spell October correct. Can you guys see that up there? All right, I'm just typing. If I hit save and I tell it to just go ahead and save, it's going to save it in LibreOffice format. Okay? So if you look down here on the bottom of the screen, I'm going to save it. So I'm going to give it a name, October class. If I just press enter right now, it's going to save it in this format. You see my pointer right there? It says ODT, which is an open document template. Well, that'll work in Microsoft Office. It'll actually open it. But if you pull that little window down, you see all these options here? See all of them? And if I hover on that one, I think you could read that back there. Can you see that? It says .docx. So if I pick that and I hit save, it's now saving it in Microsoft Word format. So you can email this to anybody and they can open it and read your typing. Okay? All right? So then it's going to ask me a question. Hey, do you want to save it in Word format? Are you sure? Well, yeah. I'm going to just tell it yes. So that's one thing when you're working with any alternative Office program you need to look out for. Because if it saves it in a WordPerfect format, it may have trouble in Microsoft Word. Okay? There is a way to make it do this automatically. Anybody who's using it, if you go up to Tools and Options, on the left you're going to see the Load and Save icon. See it over there? If you hit that plus sign next to it, and you go to General, this is telling us what format do you want a text document to be. I'm going to say I want it to always be Microsoft Word. See that right there? So now I'm just going to pick it. Apparently if I can click it just right. So now I'm telling it anytime I type a text document, don't ask me any questions. Just save it in Word format. Just do that. Okay? So I'm going to say OK. Doesn't look like anything happened, but I'm going to start a new document and just start typing. Okay, so I got a sentence there. And if I hit save, if you look at the bottom, can you guys see right here? I didn't have to pick anything, and it's going to save it as a Microsoft Word document for me. So I don't ever have to go pick it. By default, it'll always just save it in Microsoft Word format. Why does that matter? Because everybody else on the planet is using Microsoft Word, and if you want to email them your Christmas list for 2017, you need it in Word format so they can read it. Okay? That makes sense? Yeah.
What was the menu that you found the load and save under?
That's good. Good question. So you go up to Options up top. Tools and Options.
Tools? Okay.
And then on the left, you're going to see General under Load and Save.
Yellow. Okay.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. I mean, the Office suite that I kind of like the best is this LibreOffice. And literally, there are tens of millions of people using this. This isn't like Paul in Cross Lake thinks it's a cool thing to do. The entire government of France switched to this. Germany has switched to this. Like to the tune of 500,000 government office workers are now using this because it works just as good and it's cost that much. Zero. Okay. So looking at it from that perspective, yeah, it can save me a few bucks, but if the government switched to it, it could save a ton. Okay. Microsoft wouldn't like to hear that, so they probably got a hitman outside the door waiting to take me out. Okay.
And can Microsoft read any of this and change it themselves?
This is a good question. You mean like can they
If
take this
somebody
code?
sends it to somebody that has Microsoft and not Libre.
Yep, this is a good question. If, let's say you were typing up a letter and you forgot and you saved it as an ODT file, not as a Microsoft Word file, and you sent it to your buddy, he can open that. Because it's an open document format, the Microsoft one can open it. It may not look perfect, but it will open and work. I don't know if you remember in the old days, if you opened like a version that wasn't right, you'd get gibberish on the screen. Anybody remember that? You get like weird characters. You won't get any of that. I mean, it'll read fine and you may lose your formatting, but it'll work just fine. That was a very good question. Does anybody have Microsoft Works? It's a really old, yeah. How did I know you and me would have that, right? If anybody has like old files that are in Microsoft Works, it's a real problem because Microsoft Word does not open any letters that were typed in Microsoft Works without a special piece of software. LibreOffice by default will open all of those. So it's a very nice little extra feature and reason to use this. Okay. Are there any questions? Again, we could spend an hour just talking about LibreOffice. Seriously, we could spend a day on it. It's really cool. Especially the draw piece. Anybody here like to draw? Make cool artwork and little signs and banners? Yeah. They have a really neat part of the suite is called Libre Draw. And it's dynamite. I do a lot of our network diagrams with it. Just draw one little router or a little thing and draw lines and hooks it up and it's perfect. Works great. So, all right. How many people got digital camera? All right. How many people got 4 million images on their computer that they have no idea where they are and what they're doing with them? Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay. That's a whole nother class, but we do teach it. We do teach a class on that. It's called How to Manage Your Files and Folders. It usually goes over pretty well. So if you see that one, you might want to come to it because we all have that problem. Especially now, you can take like 4 million pictures on every phone, right? You know, and you can pour them into your computer. And I don't even remember what I took last week, right? I don't know. So there it is. But to do something with those images over the years, does anybody use Photoshop? Okay, it's a very good program, but it also, you have to back up a truck full of money and pour it on the ground in order to use it. They used to cost about $1,000 for that program, but you can't buy it anymore. You have to rent it from Adobe, and it costs $30 a month. So as a comparison, the Microsoft Office suite costs $14 a month. So I mean, they're really proud of their photo software. Then, is anybody here doing anything with pictures? Like if you took a picture from your camera and you wanted to cut it down or take a piece of it and put it into a Word document, would that be something anyone's interested in? Okay. Yeah, Paula? Yeah. No?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. The reason I ask is, my last paragraph here is honestly true image editing. It's not for the faint of heart. Serious. I mean, most people are looking to do other things with the pictures they took. They're not looking to do stuff to the pictures. Because seriously, learning Photoshop, you better have about a month on your hands before you're going to learn it. It is really complicated, not just the program, but the ideas behind it. What are layers? What are shadings? What are grayscales? What are, RGB versus, CMYK? I mean, there's a lot of, it's crazy. So you need to find a 9-year-old who knows it all, and, bring your, because they already know it all. It's like, Grandpa, it's CMYK, duh, geez. But, so the reason I ask that is, if you're not interested in really seeing anything about Photoshop, we can just lightly touch on it, but if you are interested, we could talk a little more about it. Why don't we just see how it goes on the light stuff, and then, okay. Photoshop is great, but there's a program called GIMP, Graphic Image Manipulation Program. It's made by the same community that makes so much of the other free stuff. It is a Photoshop copy. You can do anything with it. But once again, refer to that last paragraph. Okay? You're not gonna just pick it up and start cropping images right off the bat. Okay? It's a lot of work. Somebody mentioned, like, how would you take a piece of a picture or something like that? Or you ever emailed a picture to somebody and they get it and they're like, man, that thing was huge. I could see your eyeball. Have you ever have you ever done that? Someone sends you a picture like, I don't even know you that well. Come on, right? That's because of the number of dots. And the screen you're looking at up here, okay, is just a bunch of dots. It's a bunch of dots this way and it's a bunch of dots this way. I think it's 1280 by 720, okay? That's how many dots it's able to display. If I took a picture, anybody got a new iPhone, that iPhone 8? Yeah, I've heard of it. It takes really, really crazy pictures, but this one's pretty good. This one takes 22 megapixel images. What does that mean? You get less pictures on a chip, I can tell you that. But that picture is 6,000 dots wide by, let's just say, 4,000 dots tall. So if I emailed you that picture and we opened it up right now, that picture is 6 of these screens wide by 4 or 5 of these screens tall, because this screen is 1,200 dots and the picture I sent you is 6,000. Does that make sense? So most decent email programs have the ability to resize a picture, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them just don't have it, and you need to resize it before you send it. Okay? And that's what some of these things are really good for. I use a bunch of the different software. Why don't we wait till the end to talk about this in the GIMP? Because I don't think everybody is too into it. So why don't we come back to that at the end? How's that sound? Okay? All right. Then whoever wants to go out and get pizza and bring it back, you can go ahead and feel free to, do so. So this is what most people want to do with their pictures. You want to take your pictures that you took and you want to do something cool with them, right? Every 9-year-old on the planet knows how to do something on the phone and make it, look, here, this is really cool. Look, I made a photo tour and it's got music. Yeah. How about the rest of us, right? That, also I don't do everything on my phone. I hope to have a good neck when I'm 60. A lot of people today are going to have a broken neck because they're looking at that phone all the time. So I don't like to work on a 4-inch screen. I have a 32-inch monitor for a reason. That's where I do my editing and stuff. But most people want to use some of this cool software that's free to do some fun stuff. Like, you ever tortured your friends and family and showed them 400 pictures? You got to see my pictures, and you can see by the third picture they're falling asleep. Come on, you know that drill, right? Right? You know what would make it more interesting? As if you could take your pictures and you could make an animated picture tour with music. I call them a photo tour. We have a whole class just on doing this. But this software, it's called Ice Cream. They have quite a few. It's the link is up there, icecreamapps.com. And one of them that's really cool is this slideshow maker. That one's really cool. So what you can do with the ice cream, I'm going to run the ice cream slideshow maker here. I'm going to show you how incredibly difficult this is to do. I could show you guys a bunch of pictures, but if you think you're tired and sleepy now, just wait till I start showing you pictures. You'll be off and sleeping in no time. So this software is free. There are other ones like it, but this is really a nice little package because it's very easy. See the big plus sign where it says add files to start your photo story? Yeah, let's do that. And then where do you put most of your pictures on your computer? Under the pictures folder, right? Maybe under vacations and maybe under 2017, right? All right. Bless you. Bless you. So I'm just going to pick, and anybody been to my class to know how to pick more than one picture at a time? You hold the control key and you click the next picture. So if I click that picture, can you see that it's selected up there? Okay. Well, if I click this one, that one is selected, but the first one isn't anymore. Bummer. I don't want to have to do this 20 times. If I pick the first picture by clicking on it, and I hold the control key on my keyboard, and I pick the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, you see what's happening? They are now all selected with one keystroke. It's the magic control key. Right? And then I'm going to hit the open button. And then it's got all my pictures in there that I just selected. And you can pick a resolution over here. See it says 1024 by 768? That means how many dots wide and how many dots tall. So my pictures are probably like 4800 by 3800. Well, remember how big that screen is? It's 1200. So 4800 is as big as the wall, right? We probably don't need to make this thing that big, right? You could change it. Make it 800 by 600, 1920 by 1080. There are different numbers in there that you can pick. That means the number of dots wide by the number of dots tall. Does that make sense? So I'm going to leave it at 1024 by 768. And I don't have any real good music on this laptop, but there's a button right here that says add audio. See that? Maybe you can't see where I'm clicking, but my mouse is right here. I'm going to add some audio. I don't think I have music on this, but on your computer, if you had music, what folder would it be in? The music folder. So I'm going to go to my music folder, and like I said, I'm not sure that I have any. I don't think I have anything it would work with. Yeah. But I could, if I had music on this laptop, pick one, and then I can just hit create. See the little bar graph down? It should play music while it's doing that, the Jeopardy theme or something. So what this is going to do, it's going to take those 6 or 7 pictures and it's just going to put them into a little movie that would have music if I had any music with me. And they'll have a nice little transition on them. They may fade together. They may do other things. So. It's funny, I did this before I came here and it took like 10 seconds. I'm not sure why it's taking so long right now, but we'll come back to the ice cream, all right? I promise. All right. So that's the kind of stuff people want to do with their images.
So can you pick out if you want to fade it in?
Yes, you can. That's a very good question. The transition that it has is selectable. I actually don't know which one I picked, but maybe within the next...
What file does it make?
It makes an MP4 typically.
Okay.
I honestly can't believe it's taken that long. Need a new computer, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure that'll fly with the boss. Yeah, boss, I was in a class and I want a faster computer. Too bad. There's another one I want to talk about, and it's called Photo Story. It's a pretty cool little thing. A lot of you raise your hands with Windows 10 here, right? Have you ever been to the Windows 10 store, the Microsoft store? Okay, have you ever been to the Apple store on your Apple phone? Yeah? Okay. Google Play to the store on your Google phone? Okay. The Google store and the Apple store, 2 thumbs up, and they have like 4 billion choices. Okay. The Microsoft store, it works, but there's like 6 different programs. It just doesn't have a great selection. But on your Windows 10 computer, if you hit the start button in the lower left corner, and you just type in store, you can go to the, can you see that icon right there? It's actually blue in Windows 10. You see how it's green up there and it says store? Okay. If you go there, you can download the program that I'm going to talk about. It doesn't cost anything. So on your Windows 8 or 10 computer, the one you're seeing here was for Windows 10. That's the one I grabbed at the office. It's really kind of cool because you can do the same thing I'm just kind of doing in that ice cream software. But this is a free Windows 10 program, so it's made by Microsoft or one of their publishers. And it's kind of neat because you can put your pictures in there and pick a theme like vacation, and it'll make some cool banners and slides and things for you. It's pretty cool. And it has some canned music that you can put in. So this one's a real neat one to check out. Microsoft Photo Story. There's really no link to it. Like I said, it's just go to the Microsoft store and look for Photo Story. Or as I've said, find a 9-year-old, have them, Yeah. If I stand here and look at it, will it go faster? You ever do that? You sit there and look at the bar graph and like, duh, it's got me hypnotized. And there's another one that's pretty cool, and it's called ICE. Not ice cream, but it's Microsoft made this program. It was cooler a long time ago. How many of you know how to take a panoramic image on your phone? You ever done that? Okay, you can take a picture. I could take a picture of this class, but maybe I can't get all of you guys, and I can't get all of you guys in there because the camera's only so wide. Well, I can only go so far back, right? So I can't get any farther back to get the whole class. When you take an image with your phone, if you go to the settings and pick panoramic, you can go like this and you hit the picture button, and then you turn to your right and you hit the button again, and it assembles that into a wide angle picture. Okay, that's called a panoramic. Long ago in the last ice age, when I was young, we didn't have cameras that did that. So what you had to do is take a couple of pictures and you could stitch them together, and it looked awful. But it was kind of cool for way back then. Microsoft makes a free program that if you happen to have any pictures, or if you just want to try it, it works really well. So if you were up at the North Shore and you had 2 or 3 pictures, you could put them in here and it would make one real nice panoramic of it. It's pretty cool. The link is there. It's a really funny link because it's shortened. The link is literally, it's like 50 characters wide. So that link right there will take you right to the downloads for this. It has a couple features that other things maybe don't. Sometimes when you're doing this with your camera, it can't get it just right, so you lose stuff at the top and you lose stuff at the bottom. So your picture isn't perfect. Happens all the time, especially if you're like standing on something and you're, whoa, it's not easy level ground. If you look at this picture, it assembled some pictures where you see how there's black areas right there. This software will take and kind of assemble what it thinks would look good in those areas. See how it fixed it for you? Very nice. Same thing with this one. Took a couple of pictures and there was a bunch of dead areas in it, but it ended up filling them in with some pretty cool matching stuff. And this is all free, provided by Microsoft. So it's definitely something to look at. Okay? What's the bet if the ice cream is done or not? Look at that. Mary, this made it as a WebM folder file, which is playable in almost any player. I'm pretty sure you can tell it to be an MP4 though,
Okay.
which is, but a WebM will work on any Mac, any PC, anywhere. It's just a video file. But this is the thing that we went and took some pictures. We threw them in that software, and then, so with doing just about nothing. So you could email this to somebody, you could upload it to YouTube. Come on, who's got a YouTube account or a Facebook account, right? You can upload that right to Facebook, and you can have your cool vacation pictures out there. I didn't really have to do anything. I just put a bunch of pictures in there and said go. And if I had any music, we'd be, you'd have music on there right now too. Okay? So that's the ice cream program. It's a pretty cool place. You should, good friends of mine, you should go stay there. Any questions on this ice cream photo software? Okay. Any questions on this Microsoft Ice? How you could take multiple pictures and make one cool wide one? Why would you do that? Well, it's cool, so that's good enough for me. But you can upload this picture to a bunch of places right now, and you can make a poster like this. I could upload. Believe it or not, you can do this at Costco. Who doesn't know what Costco? You can go to Costco.com. You go to their photo thing. You can upload one of these pictures. We just did it from our Yellowstone trip. Up on our wall, we have a great big canvas painting of Yellowstone. We uploaded a cool picture that was nice and wide angle. They got all kinds of weird sizes. But if you couldn't do this with your pictures and the frame was bigger than your picture, it won't fit. But if you can make your picture bigger, you can fit the frame and do other cool things with it. Next section is backup. If you're not backing up, just lie to me and tell me that you are. I get really cranky. You don't want to see me crabby. That is not a good thing. All right. How many people are backing up to something? Anybody still using DVDs? No? Okay. DVDs you shouldn't use. Anybody using one of these little jump drives as a backup? Okay. These are okay. They're temporary storage only. These are not meant to last forever. You should not be backing up to these. If it's all you got, it's all you got. But these are only so good for so long. This is what you really want. You can get these little hard drives for $50. And if you walk in, they try to sell you the one for $200 because it's like 4 terabytes. You don't need it. Okay. Spend $50, you'll get a terabyte hard drive. That's plenty good. What's a terabyte mean? Your computer has a storage unit in it called a hard drive, and it's a certain size, anywhere from 500 gigabytes to 4 terabytes. 1 terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. That's all that means. It's just the next thing up, like from million to billion. So a terabyte hard drive is humongous. You'll never fill it. Even I have a hard time filling those. This one in my hand happens to be a 2 terabyte. I think I paid $80 for it. And it's got a USB cable. Everybody familiar with USB? These little pluggy plug things? Yep. Okay. So this thing will last forever, pretty much. Unless I drop it here because I'm getting a little dizzy. But, if I plug this into my computer, I now have a hard drive that is way bigger than my computer's hard drive. I could back my computer up 50 times to this thing. This cost $80. But in order to back it up, you got to have some good software, okay? This one I've been using for years, and it's fantastic free software. It's called Macrium Reflect, and I put the link right up there. You can go right there and get it. What does it do? See, the thing about backing up a computer and using these little stickies, okay? Your Microsoft Word isn't on there, the program. You might have your Word documents on there, but what if your computer died? If the hard drive died, your whole computer is gone. I can get you a new hard drive. I can put it in your computer. I'm done, and I turn it on, and it does nothing. The hard drive is blank. You have to put Windows back on it. That's going to take a couple hours. And then you got to go scrounging and find all your disks, because everybody knows where they all are, right? Right. And then you got to install all that software again. Word and Excel and all your cool stuff. You got to rebuild your whole computer. What Macrium does is the Reflect software takes a cloned image of your computer, absolutely everything, and it puts it into a file over here. So it takes my whole computer, rolls it up into one great big file, and tosses it on this little hard drive. I put this thing in my safe, and everything's good. Great. If I lose the hard drive in this computer, I can do the exact backwards thing. I can go pick one of the files on this thing from, say, last week, and I can say, rebuild this computer to that. And I can walk away, and in a half an hour, this computer is right here where it is right now with all this software, everything you're looking at, done. Because it was cloned to that backup drive. That's the difference. That make sense? It's pretty cool for the low price of nothing. The only thing is, you just got to go out and get something. You got to go do this. Everybody doing backups? If you're not, please do.
Yeah, but we're not using anything like that.
What are you guys using?
Well, I mean, he just
Yeah.
brings it in and backs it up.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, is that the Microsoft one, the backup utility? Yeah. There's a free version that comes with Microsoft. They actually took it out of Windows 8 for some stupid reason. So it's in Windows 7 and it's in Windows 10. But so that's why I don't recommend it, because so many people have a different version and it's not there. So, but I am going to talk about one other thing in here that is in there. So the free version of this Macrium Reflect will take your whole computer, back it up to here. Everything. It's wonderful. What it doesn't do is take just individual files and folders. If you want to do that, you have to pay them $50 and then you own the full copy and then you're good. But Microsoft Windows 7, 8, 8.1, and 10 all have this thing built into them called File History. And I took a little screenshot of it. I'll show you in the next slide. Or I won't show you at all. I'm sorry, I didn't take a picture of it, so I'll have to show you on my screen. If I went to the Start button, which is the lower left button, you know, in the screen right here, you hit that, and you type File History. Okay. You guys see right there it says File History? It's kind of fuzzy, but can you read that back there? Okay. If I open that up, and I'm using one of these, it's really awesome. You know what it does? If you set that up, it will just, every time you're doing any documents, you're typing something in Word, it creates a copy. And it creates another copy, and another copy, and another copy. It does exactly what it says. You tell it how long do you want to keep all your file history, all your pictures, all your Word documents, all your stuff gets backed up multiple times going backwards. Now, it's not the same thing as backing up your whole computer, because if it wasn't in the Documents folder, it's not getting backed up. Does that make sense? Where the clone and the Macrium Reflect copy absolutely everything. But you wouldn't do a clone of your computer every week. You might do one every month. So if you did a clone, so you back up your entire computer, and you were running the file history, and you ever done it where you're typing in a Word document and you screw something up and you don't notice it, and then the next time you open it, most of it's gone? Ever happened? Well, if you were running file history, you'd just be able to go, oh, I want to go get the one from last week, and it would just go find it and bring it back, and it would rebuild it just like that. It's amazing. Again, I could spend a whole hour going through the file history with you. It's that powerful. It's really cool.
Is it an automatic dump then?
Yep. It'll do it on the fly.
Is it an automatic dump then?
Yeah, you can also go over to network drives too. Anybody in an office that does a network, like in our company, we have a network drive. I could set file history up, and instead of backing it up to my computer, it would just back it up over the network, and I'd have multiple copies there as well. And it's like a, I don't know if it's exactly real time, but it's real close to whatever you tell it in real time. Nobody sleeping yet? Okay. And we got one more to talk about.
Excuse me, how do, for instance, I have all my pictures backed up onto a little flash drive. How do I put them then, and they're not on my computer anymore, how do I put them on that?
Question is, she got one of these, and all of her pictures are on these, okay? And that's cool. But she wants to know, how do I put it on here? Okay? Because they're no longer on her computer. So if I plug this one in, I think I have enough ports. I'm going to open up a little window so you can see what I've got here. You see there's a little, this is called the F drive, Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I had all your pictures, they'd be the F drive or the G drive or something. When I plug this one in, you'll see there's another one gets added on the lower left over there. It's a big one, it takes a minute. So there I've got a G and I should have a H. So what I would do in my case is I would open my F drive, which I don't really have a pictures folder on this little stick, but I would copy that. And I see copy 2 over there. I would copy that to this hard drive. It'll take a few minutes, but then it's done. Okay. Yeah, I've had this for the longest time and I haven't used it, and I'm kind of sad. It's a magnifier. I always thought it was terrible and I never used it, but it's really cool. How many times have you been on a screen and you just can't quite read what's on here? Wouldn't it be nice to have a magnifier without really having a true magnifier by the screen? You know, if you hit the start button, that's that one in the lower left over there. And if you just start typing, MAGNI, just start typing. You see it up there? It says magnifier. All right. I'm just going to click on that. Yeah, don't act like you're not impressed. I can move this thing around anywhere on the screen and magnify what's behind it. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, it took me like 15 years to find that, just in case we're talking about things here. It's been in there forever. I've never used it because of what I'm going to show you. When you first fire up Magnifier, it's not set up to do this nice little, they call it a lens, this little window that moves around the screen. What it is it's set to this view called docked. So the top of the screen gets the whole top of the screen. See that? That entire little bar up there becomes the magnified area. So wherever I move my little pointer down on the bottom, you can see it up there, but that to me was always really unhandy. One day I happened to click on the little magnifier icon and I went to the word views and I went, well, what's under there? So I clicked on that and the middle one says lens. So if you hit lens, now you have a nice little floaty bar that runs around. This is really good. Has anybody been to the home theater one where you got a small computer and a TV that's hooked to it? It's really good for that, because if you're sitting back on your couch and you can't quite read it, to fire this thing up and be able to see it is awesome. It's built into every version of Windows. Okay? The only trouble I had with it is, like, how do I get rid of this thing? The only thing I can do is go over here where the magnifier is floating. You guys see the little magnifier there? Okay. If you click on it, you can just go close it right there with the X. And then it's gone. Does that make sense? But that's kind of a pain to hit the start button and go to magnifier every time. If I hit the start button and I did the same thing, you guys see the magnifier up there just like we just did? Instead of clicking on it, if I right click on that, there's two things that you can do that are pretty cool. This one says pin it to the taskbar. And I got so much junk on my taskbar that probably won't help us much. But it would put the magnifier right down here on the bottom. Okay? The other one that you can do is you can say create a shortcut. You see that right there? Okay. If you do that, I know you got 4 million things on your desktop. I do too. But somewhere here on my desktop, it will create a shortcut to the magnifier. So I can just double click on it. Okay. It's probably hidden off screen because I have too much junk on there. So those two things are really helpful. Did you know there was a magnifier? You ever used it before? Yeah. I always hated it. So, anybody have any questions on what we covered? Feel free to ask. Great. You got anybody else have any ideas for free software you want to talk about? Shoot me an email if you find something cool. I'm always looking for stuff to bring to these classes.
What is your email?
P. Davis at emilytell.com. And then, if you have any ideas for a seminar, like what would you like to know about? Because I just make these up. I just think about things I think might be cool, and people keep showing up. So it's weird. Yes.
What do people do for making labels?
Anybody else interested in making labels? Very good. I use them all the time. Man, we could have a whole class on that. But for right now, do you have an inkjet printer or a LaserJet printer?
I think it's inkjet.
Okay. The easiest thing to do is go out and buy Avery 5160 labels. They have 3 on a page and 10 down. They're the address labels. If you're looking for something else, one of the things we do is we have larger labels that go on our different things in the storehouse. Well, I don't have to handwrite all of those, especially if you've seen my handwriting, right? It's like, I might as well just chisel it in stone or something. But the Avery website at avery.com has templates for every label you could ever think of. How many of you still got VHS tapes? Come on. Anybody still got VHS? Really? I know you do. I know. You can actually still get VHS tape labels. You stick it in your printer, you just open up the template, you type it in, hit print, and it comes out, and it's perfect. So Avery.com has about every label there is under the sun.
How about for lists of names? Let's say you're doing Christmas cards or something like that.
This is a whole nother class, but what you would do with that is you would use Microsoft Word or LibreOffice. Okay. You'd have to have, of course, you have to have a list of names, obviously. Most people have them typed into a Word document, or they have them typed into a spreadsheet or a list. As long as you got some kind of list, easiest thing to do is have them in Excel, a spreadsheet. So you got the guy's name, address, city, state, zip. You know, that's, so you got that in a table format and got it all typed up. As long as you have that, you can go into Word. You do what's called a mail merge. You do it to envelopes or you do it to labels. In our case, it would be to labels. But you know how some printers have envelopes you can stick in and they actually print right on the envelope? You can do that also. It's a little easier with some of it. But in our case, you would put in a sheet of Avery 5160 labels, put it in there. You would tell Microsoft Word that I'm going to do a mail merge. And I'm going to do it with this spreadsheet file. And I'm going to use Avery 5160 labels. You kind of walk through the steps. And the class I teach is pretty good because it's a little obtuse. They don't make it super easy. But once you're done, you hit print and they just come out. Done. So next year when you have 10 new people, hopefully I'm on your Christmas shopping list. You know, you think about it. I like weird stuff, right? All you have to do is add that person into that spreadsheet. Just put them in the list. Next year, you don't have to have like labels and go through the labels to figure out who you don't want anymore. You can go find them in that thing and just merge them. That's a real easy way to do it.
Thank you.
Yep. See, I guess I don't need a seminar on that, right? The next seminar, Deb, is in November.
It is. November.
Why don't I put the date on here? Doesn't it?
It's in November. It's a Tuesday. It's November.
Second
Yes.
Tuesday. And this one's on what's hot and what's new for the Christmas shopping. It's going to be a fun one. We got 2 young
Yep.
studs that are going to put on that one.
Yep,
And,
not the old geezer like me. They got young guys now. So.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, I didn't put the date on yet. That's because I got it last minute. I'm sorry.
How many people know what a Fire Stick is? How many people know what a Roku box is? How many people, all these cool little things you can get that are so amazing. Like, you got a great big TV. You can get one of these little devices for 35 bucks, and you plug it into one of the video ports. You know what an HDMI port is? So like you got a Blu-ray player at your house, it's got a cable coming out of it going into your TV. That's called the HDMI cable. Most TVs have HDMI 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So we would take this little stick, this little device, plug it in HDMI 2, and you now have a smart TV with Amazon Prime, with YouTube, with Netflix, everything. A lot of the new TVs you buy have all that stuff built in. It's built into the TV. But what if you bought your TV 3 years ago and it didn't have any of those apps in it? Well, wouldn't it be nice just to be able to sit on your couch and poke on your TV and say, open Netflix? Wouldn't that be cool? That's what these things allow you to do. So I think they're going to be touching on some of those neat things that are really, really cool things that, well, they just didn't exist 5 years ago. So.
We're taking off for December. We're not going to do any in December.
Yep.
And then we're going to do some brainstorming, coming up with new topics and new ideas. So if you guys have any desires to learn something, shoot it our way and we'll start putting it together.
Well, what about a mail merge? You know, it's kind of we used to do an advanced Microsoft Word class, and that was one of the things we would do is that exact thing. We would go through and show people how to just keep a list. So you don't have to maintain labels and 40 documents. Just keep a list and just print it every year. Would that be a class you'd be interested in an hour?
Setting up the Excel.
Yeah.
Windows.
How to do it? Okay. All right. Yes, Sue.
I'd actually be interested in the section on some of the simpler things of photo editing, going in and making them smaller, taking certain parts of them. I have photos that I'd like to get rid of, a lot of junk on them.
Yep.
Get a good part of it.
Okay. So actual true, like I was saying, it's not for the faint of heart. Photo editing.
Cropping.
Yep.
Cropping and
Copying out a piece and pasting it over here. There's a lot of really cool, like this image right here. The image that you see behind here of the Cross Lake Dam. That's actually about twice that tall. So I was able to go into it and just cut out what I wanted, make it a new picture, and then it fit perfectly on this slide. Is that kind of what you're thinking of?
Well, I have dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Trying to get a good picture of them is
Hard.
You know, so you'll get a picture, but it's only you get this picture this size, but only this part over here is any good.
Right.
And that's the part you want to see and
Yep.
get rid of all the other garbage.
Yep. That would be a really good class. Okay? No doubt that's already written down. Yeah. Any other ideas? This is great. Yeah, man.
Well, it's not an idea. I had a question when you were talking about GIMP. I need software that will crop in a circle. Because my spotting scope, of course, gives you a circular image. Is there one that does that? My picture it in photo that was on
100
the old
years
XP,
old. It's from back in my
and
time
I
with
still
Last
keep
Ice
that old
Age.
desktop computer just to use that
Mhm.
because nothing since then has been as good. Is there something out there? I've tried some of the Adobe stuff, but again, didn't really crop
Okay.
in a circle or an oval or whatever.
If you're interested, I'm going to show her this. If you're interested in seeing it, cool. If not, does anybody have any questions on any of the stuff we went over? Any of it interesting to you? And you might go out and look into some of it? Okay? Okay. Because if not, I'll take it out of the class, you know. But if you think it's something you might use. Yes, Sue?
The last couple times I've used Office Libre, I've gotten a message someplace in it that says there's a new version available, blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes it comes up and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm wondering if I'm having trouble with mine because it's an older version and I need to update it. How can I get into Office Libre and update it?
If you go to that link I gave you right there, and go to LibreOffice.org, just download the new one. Don't be running the old one. You know, make sure it's not running. Just run that file that you download. It will upgrade the version you have.
Okay, now I'll just run.
Yep. Mary, this program right here, what she's asking is anybody can crop this image down with a crop tool. And what a crop tool means is I don't want this whole picture. I just want that part of this picture. Okay? Well, if you pick the crop tool and you draw a box around what you want, that's what you're going to crop right there. Okay? There. The rest of the picture's gone. So the only thing I kept was in that little rectangle that I drew. That's called cropping. Okay? Mary's problem child, she wants to crop it in a circle, and they don't make anything anymore that can do that. But this software would allow me to do a selection of a circle, Mary.
Okay.
So if I do a circle selection, okay, so I'm picking the select tool, not the crop tool. And then I'm going to go over here and I'll try to get it close. I want to try to get just the red right there. I got two options. One, so I draw a circle. Oops, apparently I didn't draw a circle. Okay, I'm close. That has selected everything inside that little circle. If I invert the selection, that has now changed it to select everything outside the circle, and if I press delete, that stuff is all gone. See how that worked?
I think.
Okay, so let's do it again. You can also, since I've just selected that, I can copy that and I can paste that, and it will be just that in a new image.
So you still have your old image
Yep.
without, so you could still, if you weren't satisfied.
Yeah. When I'm doing image editing, I always make a copy of the image first, and then I work on that, and I close the original just because I'm kind of paranoid that way. I've got really bad luck, so. Don't take me to Vegas with you. You might as well just slide your money under the door and leave because,
Is that also a free program then?
this is not. It's
Okay.
not even really available much anymore, but there's several out there that have this same tool set in them
Okay.
that you and I could talk about.
Okay.
Does that make
Thank you.
sense? Anybody else do any image stuff? Sue, you would kind of use that same thing. If I delete the piece that I selected, it's just gone from the image. So what I did is I said invert the selection and select everything else and delete that. Does that make sense? Okay.
You can't do that in LibreDraw.
This is a good point. You can't do that in LibreDraw. LibreDraw is not meant to be an image editing program. But another thing that you could do, Mary, is just the circle right there. If I just copy the circle and I paste the circle as a new image, now I have an image that I could paste anywhere I want to.
And that's what I usually do, because if I make a calendar or whatever, I just want just that, I
Yep.
don't want to lose part of the
Yep.
bill off the wood duck or
Yep.
whatever,
Can you see what I'm doing there? I'm now pasting that image in as a floating copy of it back into itself as all kinds. There's a whole day of stuff we could talk about here sometime.
Yeah.
So this might be something for you too, Sue, and the imaging stuff like that. Okay. Most of the good software for this, I don't know if it's going to be free, but it might cost you $100 to do something like that.
Well, it's worth it if it's going to work and if I can learn it.
Yeah.
In a reasonable length of time
Yeah.
before I die.
Well, now there's a cheery thought for you guys. Yeah. Thanks for that, Mary. Has anybody got questions? Somebody over here? Yeah.
How about antivirus, anti-malware software?
Yep. If you have Windows 10, you don't have to worry about antivirus and anti-malware. Windows 10 has a fantastic protection suite built in. Okay? Yes, it is. Yep. If you go buy a new computer right now off the shelf and bring it home, it is protected. The problem with buying a new computer is it's also going to have McAfee on it that they want you to buy in 30 days. If you uninstall and get rid of McAfee, just get rid of it. Windows Defender will come up and go, hey, do you want me to turn on and use My Protection, and you just do that. Windows Defender. It's part of Windows 10. Okay. If you have Windows 7 still, you can download what's called Microsoft Security Essentials. Windows 8.1 also uses that. Okay. But I don't recommend McAfee. I don't recommend Norton. I don't recommend Kaspersky. All these ones you can pay for, because they don't protect you really any better. It's not about an antivirus. I mean, that's so 90s. Nobody gets a virus anymore. Nobody does. People go to a website and they get fooled. That's what happens now. You go to a website and there's an ad plan on the side that says, hey, your Adobe Flash Player is way out of date. You need to update it. Click here. Oh, okay. You click there. How do you know that's the Adobe Flash Player? So you go do what they say, and all of a sudden, you're infected with 9 million viruses and spyware, and you can't get rid of it. Call this number right now, and they'll charge you $299 to do nothing. If you really want to throw away $299, just give it to me. Right. So antivirus is really important. You must have it, but you don't need to go out and pay for it. Yes.
This Windows 10 update that I'm hearing several of my friends complaining about is sitting there waiting to be installed on my computer. What has been the problem with it? Because I don't know what it's doing to them. I just know that they're very unhappy with it.
Well, it's called the Creator's Upgrade, and there's hope. There's another one coming next month, so it's even worse. So just so your hopes were up, I now dashed them. It's called the Creator's Update, and there's no way around it. Eventually, you will get it. It's fine. It does take away a few things. I haven't found any problems with it except on my older software. I have some really old software, and there's a point in time where Windows has to say, we don't do that anymore. That's the one problem I've seen. Everything else I've got, we've all got Windows 10 in the office with Creator's Update. Everybody's running it. As far as I know, we have no problems of any kind. I don't have a problem with it. It is a big download, though, so you better have a cup of coffee in a couple hours. So. Did you have any questions, Marilyn? Did we talk about the photo things enough for you? Or is that going to be a whole class?
Yeah.